अटूट प्रेम है। वह वृंदावन का जीवन है। गायें, बछड़े, पेड़, फूल, पानी, बुजुर्ग पुरुष। कृष्ण के माता पिता नंद महाराज और यशोदामयी, हर कोई कृष्ण से गहराई से जुड़ा हुआ है। हर किसी का केंद्र बिंदु कृष्ण है। हर कोई कृष्ण से इतना प्रेम कर रहा है कि वे नहीं जानते कि वह भगवान है। कभी कभी वृंदावन के निवासी कृष्ण की अद्भुत गतिविधियों को देखते हैं और सोचते हैं, कृष्ण अवश्य ही कोई देवता होंगे जो यहाँ आए हैं। वे कभी नहीं पहचानते कि कृष्ण भगवान के परम व्यक्तित्व हैं, या यदि वे ऐसा करते हैं तो कृष्ण उन्हें तुरंत भूल जाते हैं। जब कृष्ण ने लगभग 5000 साल पहले पृथ्वी पर अपनी लीलाएं प्रकट की, तो वे कई खतरनाक स्थितियों से गुजरे। इतने सारे राक्षस आ रहे थे और मां यशोदा कृष्ण की रक्षा के लिए मंत्रों का जाप करती थीं, ये सोचकर उन्हें किसी विपत्ति में नहीं डाला जा सकता है। कृष्ण के परिवार और दोस्तों ने कभी नहीं समझा कि कृष्ण भगवान हैं। कृष्ण के प्रति उनका स्वाभाविक प्रेम इतना तीव्र था, इसलिए वृंदावन का जीवन इतना श्रेष्ठ है। जैसा कि चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने सिखाया, आराध्यो भगवान व्रजेश तन्यास तद्धाम वृंदावनम। सबसे पहले कृष्ण व्रजेंद्र नंदन, नंद महाराज के पुत्र, आराध्य हैं, पूजनीय हैं। फिर तद्धाम वृंदावनम, उनका धाम या निवास वृंदावन समान रूप से पूजनीय है। इसलिए ये तथ्य समझ के उच्च मानक से संबंधित हैं। केवल एक भक्त ही समझ सकता है कि भगवान के साथ एक हो जाना कोई उत्कृष्ट विचार नहीं है। वृंदावन में भक्त भगवान के माता पिता बनना चाहते हैं, प्रेम से भगवान को वश में करना। इस तथ्य को मायावादी या अद्वैतवादी नहीं समझ सकते। इन बातों को केवल शुद्ध भक्त ही समझ सकते हैं। ईश्वर से एकाकार होने से क्या लाभ? यहाँ तक कि अन्य वैष्णव दर्शन भी भगवान के साथ उच्च संबंधों की व्याख्या नहीं कर सकते, जैसा कि चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने समझाया था। ये है वात्सल्य रस, पितृत्व, और माधुर्य रस, दाम्पत्य प्रेम। चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने विशेष रूप से सिखाया कि कृष्ण के साथ हमारा रिश्ता दाम्पत्य प्रेम, माधुर्य रस में हो सकता है। लेकिन जहाँ तक हमारी सामान्य समझ की बात है, भगवान चैतन्य ने अचिंत्य भेदाभेद का दर्शन प्रस्तुत किया, एक साथ भगवान के साथ एक और भगवान से अलग। इसे कृष्ण ने भगवद गीता में समझाया है। 15.7 ममेवांशों। जीव भगवान के अभिन्न अंग हैं। इसलिए हम भगवान के साथ एक हैं, क्योंकि हमारे पास सूक्ष्म अंश में भगवान के गुण हैं। लेकिन ईश्वर मालिक है और हम हमेशा उसके अधीन रहते हैं। एको बहुना यो विद्धाति कामान। हम सुरक्षित हैं, हमारा पालन पोषण होता है, हमारा प्रभुत्व है। यही हमारी स्थिति है। हम प्रधानता का पद प्राप्त नहीं कर सकते। ये संभव नहीं है।
Feel the oneness. With a difference pusta kursna. This next question is rather interesting. Srila Prabhupada. Is it not possible for all kinds of spiritualists, be they Advaitins, advocates of oneness of the self with God, Dvaitins, advocates of total difference between the self and God, or Visistadvaitins, advocates of qualified oneness of the self with God, to come together instead of remaining isolated as warring factions? Srila Prabhupada. Yes. This is the process taught by Caitanya Mahaprabhu, to bring all the Dvaitins and Advaitins together on one platform. Everyone has to understand that he is essentially a servant of God. The Advaitin wrongly thinks that he is absolutely one with God, that he himself is God. That is wrong. How can you become God? God is Sad Aisvarya Purnam, full in 6 opulences. He has all power, all wealth, all beauty, all fame, all knowledge, and all renunciation. So this Advaitin idea is artificial, to think you're able to become God. The Dvaitins stress that one is utterly different from God, that God is separate from the living entity. But actually, from the Bhagavad Gita we understand that the living entities are part and parcel of God. And in the Vedas it is said, Nityo Nityanam Satanas Setananam, Katha Upanishad 2.2.13. Both God and his creatures are living entities, though God is the chief. Eko yo bahunam vadadati kaman. The difference between the two is that God maintains all the other living entities. That is a fact. We are maintained, and God is the maintainer. We are predominated, we are not independent, and God is the predominator. But because the predominated living entities are part and parcel of God, in quality they are one with God. So Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is Asintya Bhedabheda. The living entities are simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. The living entity is one in the sense that he is part and parcel of God. So if God were gold, the living entity would also be gold. That is oneness in quality. But God is great, and we are minute. In that way we are different. That is why Caitanya Mahaprabhu enunciated this philosophy of Asintya Bhedabheda, inconceivable, simultaneous oneness with indifference from God. That is real philosophy. So on the platform of this philosophy, everyone can come together, if they are reasonable. If they remain unreasonably stuck up in their own concocted philosophy, then it is difficult. But it is a fact that the living entity is eternally one with and different from God. Find this verse, Mamaivamso Jiva Lok. Hari Sari. Mamaivamso Jiva Lok Jiva Buddha Sanatana Mana Sasthanindriyani Prakrti Stani Karsati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. BG 15.7, Srila Prabhupada. So if the living entity is eternally a fragmental part, how can he become one with the whole? The part is never equal to the whole. That is an axiomatic truth. So it is a wrong conception to try to become equal to God. The Mayavadis are trying to become God, but that is impossible. Let them try to become godly. Godly means servant of God. That will make them perfect. The Vaisnava philosophy teaches that we can remain in our natural position but act as a servant of God. That is perfect. But if the servant tries to become the master, that is artificial. Of course, in the spiritual world there often seems to be no difference between the master and the servant. For instance, Krishna's friends the cowherd boys, they do not know that Krishna is God. They play with him on equal terms. When Krishna is defeated in play, he has to take his friend on his shoulder and carry him. The friends do not know who is God and who is not God. So that is the advanced spiritual conception. Of course, the difference is always there between God and the part and parcel living entities, but by the influence of God's internal potency, the understanding is covered. We can attain that position after many, many lives of pious activities. That is stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10.12.11. Itham satam brahma sukhanupatya dejam gatanam para devatina mayashritanam nara darakina sakam vijara kurta punya punja. The cowherd boys are playing with Krishna. And who is Krishna? He is the essence of Brahma Sukha, spiritual bliss. He is Param Brahman, the Supreme Spirit. So the boys are playing with Param Brahman, though to an ordinary man he appears to be an ordinary child. How have the cowherd boys got in the position of being able to play with Krishna? Kurta Punya Punja, after many, many lives of pious activities. They have gotten the position of playing with Krishna on equal terms. So this is the conception of pure devotional service, that when you go to Goloka Vrindavana, Krishna's abode, you love Krishna so much that you will not distinguish between the Supreme Lord and his subordinates. The inhabitants of Krishna's abo. unflinching love for Krishna. That is Vrindavana life. The cows, the calves, the trees, the flowers, the water, the elderly men. Krishna's parents Nanda Maharaja and Yasodamayi, everyone is intensely attached to Krishna. Everyone's central point is Krishna. Everyone is loving Krishna so much that they do not know he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes the residents of Vrindavana see Krishna's wonderful activities and think, Krishna must be some demigod who has come here. They never recognize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or if they do, Krishna makes them immediately forget. When Krishna manifested his pastimes on earth some 5,000 years ago, he passed through many dangerous situations, so many demons were coming, and Mother Yasoda would chant mantras to protect Krishna, thinking, he may not be put into some calamity. Krishna's family and friends never understood that Krishna is God. Their natural love for Krishna was so intense. Therefore Vrindavana life is so exalted. As Caitanya Mahaprabhu taught, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrahesa Tanayas Tad Dhamma Vrindavanam. First of all, Krishna, Vrajendra Nandana, the son of Nanda Maharaja, is Aradhya, worshipable. Then, Tad Dhamma Vrindavanam, his Dhamma, or abode, Vrindavana, is equally worshipable. So these facts pertain to a higher standard of understanding. Only a devotee can understand that to become one with God is not a sublime idea. In Vrindavana the devotees want to become the father or mother of God, to control God with love. This fact the Mayavadis, or Advaitavadis, cannot understand. Only pure devotees can understand these things. What is the benefit of becoming one with God? Even other Vaisnava philosophies cannot explain the higher relationships with God, which Caitanya Mahaprabhu explained. These are Vatsalya Rasa, parenthood, and Madhurya Rasa, conjugal love. Caitanya Mahaprabhu especially taught that our relationship with Krishna can be in conjugal love, Madhurya Rasa. But as for our general understanding, Lord Caitanya introduced the philosophy of Asintya Bhedabheda, simultaneously one with and different from the Lord. That is explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 15.7. Mamaivamso, Jiva Buddha, the living entities are part and parcel of God. So we are one with God, since we have God's qualities in minute degree. But God is the master, and we are always subordinate. Eko bahunam yo vadadati kaman. We are protected, we are maintained, we are predominated. That is our position. We cannot attain the position of predominator. That is not possible.